Hello and welcome back to the Canaries Chat channel. Today we have a preview of the Sheffield Wednesday Norwich game, as well as what is included in the preview really, but some comments that have been made within Liam Manning's press conference this afternoon. So as kind of every normal game, there was a press conference before. Norwich fans were hoping that it wasn't maybe going to be Liam Manning taking it, but it was. And obviously some questions were put forward to him. There was one around the protests, which was him saying around that obviously everyone has the right to protest, but he said he heard things went too far. He never claimed that he was stuck anywhere. He managed to get out absolutely fine, but he said it's been heard that it got too far with the families. So there's been a lot of conflicting reports on what's happened after the protests and after the game at the weekend, and no one really seems to be coming out of any concrete evidence either way. I'd say the only thing I would say is that I haven't seen evidence of the abuse that was supposedly given to kind of family members. However, there's been a few reports saying that that did happen, but a lot of people who were there saying it didn't happen. So yeah, it's a very tricky one. He said there is a line that it becomes kind of from professional to personal, which is understandable, and I don't think anyone anyone would kind of want that abuse to happen. They would condemn it, especially towards family members. Obviously everyone has the right to voice their opinions, but obviously it can go a little bit too far sometimes. But again, I've seen no evidence that that has happened as of yet. The other kind of interesting things that I picked out was a very interesting comment. He said, "Sacking me won't make a great deal of change." And for me, that's a little arrogant to say that basically, well, you can get rid of me, it won't change anything. I'm doing my absolute best with this squad. But it nearly just feels like a call to be like, yeah, go on then, sack me, see what happens. And yeah, it just is a very odd comment to make. Obviously, there's been a lot of questions around, is his job tenable? And should he still be in a job? And obviously he's always going to push back, but I just feel like sometimes there's ways of answering questions, and he's going a little bit Dean Smith on it with these kind of quotes. Obviously we know how that ended. That was very toxic towards the end of it. But saying sacking me won't change a great deal, to me, implies that he's basically saying the player, I'm doing the best, you can't blame me, it's the players on the pitch that are the issue. And another quote which then he kind of then says off the back of that, just quickly, about 70% of the people watching this video are not subscribed, so if you're enjoying the Norwich City content, click the subscribe button down below. We're going for a very audacious goal of hitting 2,000 subscribers by the end of the year, so if you want to come along that journey, click the subscribe button down below. Is that he says, I'm not going to throw anyone under the bus, but we've made good and bad signings. And I just think, if you're a professional football player and you're coming into a club and then you've got a manager there saying, well, you're a bad signing, because it's clear who that is angled at, let's be honest, then what's that going to do for morale? What's that going to do for the team? Like, you're not going to get the players up for it. And we all know Liam Manning talks about the environment, and the players have got to show they want to fight, show they want to be there, that actually, and he keeps saying it like the tactics is there, that you can't fault the tactics nearly, but it's the players' performance. Like, you only have to look at the first half, then the second half, like, that's down to the players. For me, that's down to the manager. The whole manager changed their formation, changed their approach on the game. We didn't, and they capitalised on it very quickly, very early on, and deserved the 3 points. And I think as a manager, you've got to look inwards and you've got to actually be like, well, actually, I should have changed this, I should have changed that. But for me, as press conference goes, some very odd comments, the one about the bus and one about him being sacked, for me, that shouldn't be the case. We should be trying to focus more on football. Obviously questions will be asked, but he should be deflecting those questions, acknowledge that, yeah, I am under pressure. This is what we're doing to change it. Not going, yes, I am under the pressure. I'm doing everything I can do. It's not my fault, really. It's the players, because you've already made the players face the music doing the walk around the stadium whilst you've walked down the tunnel. He did come out and apologise for that, which, fair enough. He's acknowledged that he's done wrong. That's absolutely fine. But you've still done that, and then even though you're saying you're not going to, you have thrown him under the bus as well. So in regards to kind of other updates, Liam Gibbs is injured. So this injury crisis that we're having at the moment is ongoing. I think we've just handled it very poorly with kind of squads that we've put out. I don't think we've kind of put square pegs in round holes in places, but Liam Gibbs is injured, and actually I think he hasn't looked too bad the games that he's played, and he showed a bit of fight, he's showed a bit of spirit, he's had that conversation with the fans at the end of the game as well. So I am gutted for him, but he does seem like one of those players that is going to keep on having reoccurring injuries, so fingers crossed. It's nothing too serious. But in regards to Sheffield Wednesday, there is only one team worse than them currently in the form table out of the last 5 games, and that is Norwich. They've had 1 point, we've had 0. They're coming off the back of, it's not the first game since the administration has come in, but what I would say it's the first home game where they've had time to prep. Obviously, the last one, it was quite kind of a quick turnover, try and get fans there. It's going to be a sellout. People are going to be in really good spirits. They're going to be wanting to drag this club back up the table after their points deduction. And in all honesty, I think they're in a very good position to get points against us. There's a real unity now around Sheffield Wednesday, which is great to see after kind of all the issues they've had. Terrible time for Norwich to be playing them, but for Sheffield Wednesday, this could be a real turning point. Get 3 points here. I know they're still well off it because of that points deduction, but get 3 points here, get another point or 3 points at the weekend, and suddenly they can start looking at the kind of, you're not in the minuses anymore. You can start looking up the table and being like, actually, yeah, Norwich will definitely get a ball. If Norwich will get a ball, who's next? And then the next team. So yeah, I think the form table is one to look at, but they've only had 2 games, I believe, since the administrators have come in, and that has been a draw and a loss. I just feel like for Norwich, as I said, perfect game for Sheffield Wednesday, perfectly wrong game for Norwich. I think Hillsborough will be firing on all cylinders. We know what kind of great fans they are, the great stadium they have, that when that's rocking, that is a really, really tricky place to go. And I think, yeah, it could be a swinging point for both teams. I think for Norwich, if we lose against Sheffield Wednesday, I keep on thinking Liam Manning will be sacked. I thought that Derby, I thought that with Hull, nothing seems to be on the horizon or going to change, but we've obviously got Leicester afterwards, who aren't doing so well themselves, but I do think, I don't know how long this can go on for, us losing against teams that we supposedly should be beating, because our target this season, and they said it very clearly, was top 6. So if our target is top 6, we should be beating teams in the lower part of the table, and if we then lose against Sheffield Wednesday, just compiles, and yeah, it's just not looking good, basically. I'm predicting a 2-1 loss for Norwich. I think we'll probably have a good first half, and then we'll have a tricky second half. The Hillsborough crowd will really start backing them, and yeah, the pressure will just be a bit too much for us. In regards to the lineup, I've gone relatively unchanged. Go Vlad in goal, Fisher, Duffy, Darling, and then Schlupp. I think for me, regarding Stacey, I think after that head injury, obviously, or reoccurring head injury, better to be safe than sorry, play Fisher. I thought Schlupp had a really good game at left back. I think that was an argument that you could play left wing, to be honest, with the chances that he created. I think that was a really positive step in the right direction for him, because he is a player I've been critical of, and a lot of fans have been critical of over the last few games. I think he could be a very good player for us if he could keep churning out the performances that he did against Hull, especially that first half. But we all know what Norwich are like, blow hot and cold, so can't guarantee that. I've gone McLean and Topic rather than Matson. I think there may be a change in there. And then I've gone McCammer, Fitzgoran, Oscar and Sarge. I think Fitzgoran looked sharp when he came on. And I think we need as much support to Sarge as humanly possible. This man has been deprived. He's the best championship striker there is, and we're making him look terrible. People going on about the miss against Hull. When you're not getting a lot of service, you are a little bit rusty. And I know people would maybe claim that he should be dragging us through those games, but he's already done that at the start of the season. And for me, he just needs more service. But that is kind of the preview, the press conference all summed up. Leave a comment down below. What are your predictions for the game? What do you make of Liam Manning's comments? As always, like and subscribe, and we'll probably see you tomorrow for a reaction to the game.